Hey everyone, in today's episode we're gonna add the punch attack. Now we can kill these enemies and the game looks more interesting. We have this death animation and let's dive right into it. First of all, we need to understand how the new input system of Unity works. This project is using the new input system. So if you select the player capsule and you look down from the inspector, we have this player input. Under it, we have the input action asset. If you click it from here, you're gonna see the object under the assets. Now we can double click on it. Here we can add all of the actions that are related to the player. By default, we have move. That's why we can move with our player. We can jump and sprint. We are going to add a new action, which is the punch attack. By pressing the plus icon, we need to give it a name, like punch. And under this action, we have a binding. So the binding is the trigger for the action. Once you select it, we can pick up a binding under path. Just search for left mouse. And we have left button mouse. This is for the keyboard inputs. We could also add a binding for the gamepad by pressing the plus icon, add binding. Make sure to select gamepad, and from the path, we can go under button east. Once you add the action, we can save our asset and move on to the next script, which contains the function that's going to be called when we trigger the action by pressing the left mouse button. Let's open it up. Here we have some parameters like sprint to check whether we are sprinting or not, jump. With the same way, we are going to add a boolean that we can check for later on using public boolean, and let's call it punch. We're going to access it later on from the first person controller to play the punch animation and attack the enemy. But this boolean is not going to be changed unless you add a method. Under the onSprint one, I'm gonna use public void and make sure to name it like this, on. Then the name of the action. In our case, we have used the name punch, and this takes in an input value. So this method is called automatically when we trigger the punch action by pressing the left mouse button. In such case, we can change our boolean punch using its name and set it to a value, which is this parameter dot is pressed. So this assigns true to the punch variable if we use the left mouse button or the east button on the gamepad. Make sure to save the script and move on to the first person controller, in which we have all of the logic. This script is under the player capsule. We've already have some parameters for the movement, jumping. Now we can press it and double click on it. To be able to punch, we are going to create a method responsible for that and call it under the update. Let's create it down here using private void punch. Then call it under the update using its name punch. And the logic is going to be here. First of all, we need to check for the punch boolean. It is under this script starter assets inputs. We can write if underscore input dot punch. In this case, we're gonna play the punch animation, and we need to make sure to reset the boolean punch to false. To be able to play the punch animation, you need to go back to mixamo.com and download this one. Recently we have downloaded idle and walking. Now search for punch, and I have picked up the first one. You could also change some parameters like the target height. I'm going to increase it because the enemy is a little bit tall. We can change the range. 40 is okay. We can make it a bit faster by changing the overdrive. And you could even mirror it. For me, I'm going to use it like that. Let's download it. FBX for Unity and without the skin. Now we could import it by dragging it under the assets folder. It is this one. You need to use Ctrl D to move it out of this object and change some settings if we want by selecting the animation punch. Now we need to open up the animator of the FPS arms. So the animator is attached to the armature. It's right here, double click on it. We're gonna drag punch, and we need to make a transition from any state to punch. And to control it, we are going to use a parameter. Let's use a trigger, a punch, and set it as a condition. And we need to transition back to idle or walk once the punch animation is finished. We do that by checking his exit time. And let's get back to our script. We've already added a reference to the animator on top. It is called animator. By using animator.setTrigger and pass in the name punch, that's gonna play the punch animation. By using the left mouse button, we have the punch animation, so the input system is working. But we have to fix something. If I press the punch or the left mouse button too fast, we can play this animation infinitely. That's why we need to use a timer so that we can use one punch each second. Let's go on top. And I want to add all of the variables right here that are related to the punching. I'm gonna add a comment, punch variables. So we use private float underscore punch timer. And let's go under our method. We're gonna use a punch timer plus equals the time dot delta time. So this is the time between each frame. If we add it to the punch timer, we can keep a track of the time right here. So we're gonna add it as a condition using and the punch timer is greater than 1 second, or we can set it to half a second. I think one punch each second is okay. In such case, we are going to change the boolean, and we need to reset the punch timer so that we can count again for the next punch. Here I want to add some comments to make this code a bit easier to read. Reset all variables. That needs to be reset. Here we are playing the animation. And at the end, we need to check for enemy hit, or if we hit any objects. To do so, we are going to use physics.trycast. Basically, we can create an array. We give it the origin position, like the camera position, and we're going to give it the forward vector. And if this ray or this line hits the enemy, we can apply damage to it by calling a specific function to reduce its HP. Let's get back to the code, and we are going to use a boolean. I'm going to call it isHit equals physics.trycast. This takes in a few parameters. We're going to give it the origin position. Luckily, we have a reference to the main camera under the script. It is called main camera. .transform .position. That's the origin. For the vector, I'm going to use main camera .transform .forward. Then we're going to use out trycast hit. This contains all of the information that are related to what we have hit with the ray. And let's call it hit info. Next, we are going to add a maximum distance. We could also add a variable for that. And we can specify a layer mask. We only need to check if we have hit the enemy. Let's use some parameters on top, or variables. We're going to make this one a serialized field so that we can adjust it. It's a float. And let's call it underscore max distance, 1 by default. And we want to add an enemy layer. Using serialized field, we can add the private keyword. And at the same time, we can access the variable because we have added this serialized field. Using private, this one is called layer mask. We can call it underscore enemy layer. We're going to assign it later on to our zombie. Here I'm going to use the max distance and the enemy layer. Next, we're going to use if isHit is true. In such case, we're going to check for the parasite script, and we can reduce its HP. We haven't added the HP of the enemy yet. Debug.log to check that our code is working. Enemy hit. We're going to see this message once we hit the enemy. Of course, we need to assign the enemy layer to the parasite. Make sure to go under parasite layer and add a new layer, enemy. Then select it again and assign it to the parasite, which is our enemy. Also, we need to get back to the player capsule. We can adjust the maximum distance and we can select the enemy layer. If I hit the wall, we can't see anything because we are only checking for the enemy hit. Let's move towards it. And yeah, we have enemy hit. We are not applying damage yet. To do so, we are going to call a method which we're going to create under the parasite script. We're going to start by adding the HP of the parasite using int enemy HP and set it to 100. Then each time we hit it, we are going to call a method. Make sure to make it public so that we can access it. Void take damage. This takes in the damage amount, but I'm going to call it damage. And we could simply use enemy HP minus equals the damage amount. Then we can check if the enemy HP is less or equal to 0. We're going to play the death animation and we can disable the script. Otherwise, we need to play the reaction to hit animation that we can download from mixamo.com. We need to get back to the parasite animator component. Let's double click on it. Recently we've added idle, walk, scream. Now you need to put 2 more animations. I've already downloaded these from mixamo.com. Just search for death and reaction hit. Then import it to your project. Drag the first one, zombie death. It is this one. And to control it, we need to make a transition from any state to zombie death and from any state to reaction hit. To control the transitions, we need to add 2 more parameters or triggers. The first one, I have called it death, and the second one hit. Here we're going to pick up the death trigger. And here we need to set the hit parameter as a condition. If the enemy is dead, we're going to stop right there. But if we have a reaction hit, we need to get back to attack. And let's get back to our code. We're going to add a reference to the animator component using animator and call it animator. We can actually get it under the start by using getComponentAnimator. And here we're going to use animator set trigger, death trigger. But here we're going to use the hit trigger. Instead of using debug.log enemy hit, we're going to try getting the parasite component using hit_info dot, and we have this method under transform dot try get component, and we're going to try to get the parasite component. In that case, we are going to put it inside a variable using out parasite, and we can give it the name p. So this returns true or false. We're going to put it under an if statement. So if this returns true, that means we have found the parasite script. We can call p.takedamage. You could set it to 30 from here, or we can create a variable on top and call it punch damage and use it instead. I always recommend you to use this approach by adding parameters so that we can customize the player behavior. We use serialize field private int punch damage. I'm going to set it to 30 by default because we're using integers for the HP. The same thing for the punch damage. We have this reaction hit each time we hit it, and the death animation is played. We can add more zombies to the game so that we can make it more difficult. But first we need to fix some problems. For now I can't move to enter this room because the box collider is still working. We need to check if the enemy is dead. In such case we need to disable the script and the box collider. And the second issue is that we can kill it again. To prevent that, I'm going to get back to the parasite script using boolean is dead. By default it's going to be false. And if the HP is less or equal to 0, we're going to change is dead to true. And I want to disable the box collider. And finally, we can check if the enemy is dead. Then we need to return. Before we start testing the game, I want to add the sounds to make it a bit better. We've already added the sound system by creating this audio manager script. Play and enter the name, like get hit. Under the first person controller, I want to play a punch sound. Under input.punch, let's call it punch as well. And we have a small mistake. I don't recommend using the autocomplete feature. So recently I have used the tab key to autocomplete this action. Here we need to check if the enemy is dead, then we need to return, not if he's not dead. Now we can hit the enemy and we can add some blood effects to make it more realistic. And there you go, we have the death animation and we can move on. I think that's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next videos, we're gonna try to improve our game and make it a bit cooler. We're gonna add some inventory systems. Maybe we're gonna add some weapons. And I will see you in the next one.